The high-heeled shoe today is seen as mainly a female accessory, something that guys tend to stay away from. So why would I choose these shoes as my speech topic? Well, did you know that women weren't the first people to wear high-heeled shoes? In fact, men started this fashion trend that we as ladies continue to carry on today. Now, I myself will wear basically a 3-inch heel every day, so I fall into that category of women who wear high-heeled shoes. You may not wear them, but I bet you know someone who does, and you may wonder why we wear them and what happens to our body because of them. So to give this accessory the credit it deserves, we need to look at the history, some basic fashion do's and don'ts, and the medical side effects that can come along with prolonged usage of the heel. Let's begin by looking at the history of the high-heeled shoe. The first step to understanding heels is to know a little bit about the history. And as I said before, women weren't the first people to wear high-heeled shoes, and you'll begin to see men wearing heels as early as 200 BC. Now, these were Roman tragic actors who wore heels during their plays because they saw the added height from the heel as a symbol of power and greatness. And if you look at Egyptians, you will find that their butchers were wearing heels to help them stay above the carnage. And if you'll even look at Mongolians, you will see their horsemen were adding a heel to their riding boot because they found that it helped them stay in the stirrups. So here we have 3 very different groups of men, all wearing heels for a practical reason. But as we move into the 1500s, women will begin to come onto the shoe scene, but women were wearing heels for fashion reasons, whereas men were wearing them for practical reasons at their jobs. And as you can see in this first overhead, the basic shoe style from about the 1500s to the 1800s was very much the same, with a pointed toe and a square heel, and these shoes would be worn by both men and women. But as we get into the 1900s, the shoe style is still very much the same with the pointed toe and the square heel, but they become a little bit more elaborate with such as the finer fabric here in this one and the decorative piece on the top. And in the 1900s, women were mass producing these shoes, and they needed something to help with this production, and so the first high-heeled shoe factory was built in the United States. And as we move into the 1940s, women needed to conserve materials for the war effort, and so as you can see in this bottom picture, the wedgie was born, named so because of the wooden wedge heel, and leather was conserved by using straw to cover the toe. But as we move into the 1950s, women wanted to feel more like women again, and so their shoes went back to the more elaborate style, as you can see in this picture, and it has the cutouts over the toe. And also in Italy during the 1950s, the stiletto heel was born. And for those of you who don't know what the stiletto heel is, it is actually a steel spike heel that can give added height of up to 5 extra inches. But then if we would move to the 1960s and 70s, many people wanted to break free from the traditional way of doing things, and so their outfits became very outrageous, and so did their shoes. And as you can see in this picture, it is a wooden platform with bright decorative straps covering the toe. But today, we have pulled from all these past styles to give the variety of shoe style that we have today. So now that you know a little bit about the history of the heel, let's take a look at some basic fashion do's and don'ts. So the second step to understanding high heels is to know a little bit about the fashion. Now, there's different styles of shoes, and these can actually vary the way your body shape looks. If you'd wear the chunkier style heel, such as from the 60s and 70s, this can make your body look a little shorter and actually make your legs look a little heavier, whereas the stiletto heel can make you look taller and give off a look of grace. The stiletto heel elongates your legs, and when you wear them, it puts a natural sway into your hips when you walk, and so this gives the look of grace. So with these different shoe styles varying the way your body shape looks, you need to coordinate them with different outfits. Whereas if you wear the chunkier heel, this can weigh down your outfit, and by weighing down, it means drawing more attention to the bottom of your outfit. It makes your material look a little thicker, heavier, and harder to move in. And so you really need to coordinate the shoe to the outfit. And here are just a few examples of how you can coordinate. If you need to wear an evening dress, you would wear tall, strappy sandals, and that would flow nicely with the dress. Or if you wanted to go with a stiletto, you could wear jeans and a sweater. And so you really just want to coordinate the shoe to the outfit, because these can actually give off statements about you. And as Kim Gross says, in women's wardrobe, shoes have an undeniable power. They can make you feel taller, they can make you feel more powerful, and they can even make you feel more attractive. So you want to be able to move freely in your shoes, but you also want them to be flattering. So now that we know a little bit about some fashion and we've looked at the history, now let's move on to the medical side effects that can come along with prolonged usage of the heel. So the final step to understanding high heels is to know about the side effects. Now, I interviewed a local podiatrist to find out some of this information of what actually happens to your body when you wear heels. Now, when you wear a high heel, this thrusts all your weight forward onto the balls of your feet and on your big toe joint. And this can cause many foot problems such as bunions, hammer toes, and calluses. But it can also cause full body problems such as shin splints, weakening of your knee joints, muscle spasms, faulty alignment, and even back pain. And as Dr. Liz Hoffmeister states, the safest heel height is only 1.5 inches. And when you go past that, you're putting yourself in risk of these medical damages. But if you do choose to go higher than 1.5 inches, you should buy a shoe size of a half size larger, because with all the pressure on your feet, they're going to swell, and this added room in your shoe will allow for the swelling. And she also states that you should wear your heels in moderation, and this can also reduce the risk of these medical damages. And so vary the heel height and size of your shoe. And so in conclusion, we've seen that the heel is basically a part of every woman's fashion wardrobe. And so to give this accessory the credit it deserves, we've looked at the history, some basic fashion do's and don'ts, and the medical side effects that can come along with wearing the heel. So to all you ladies who like the added height of the heel, remember to wear them in moderation to keep the medical damages to a minimum. And to all you guys who have to walk a little slower or help that female friend over the icy patches because of her shoes, that you actually started and first wore the high heel shoe.